That's it. That's the other news. I'm John Ogle on PIX 102, New York's rock and roll.
Take me through the night. Hope it's alright. Gotta take me through the night.
on PIX 102. Stones, Monkey Man. Wanted to start off this morning with Money Honey by 38 Special, but I queued up the wrong cut, so put down 1 point for them. Good morning, New York. This is Alex Bennett here at PIX 102, where we'll be here all morning with you. It seems the radio station is fool enough to give me a second chance.
Starting tomorrow at 6 a.m., PIX 102 gives your favorite rock and rollers double exposure on PIX 10 Tuesday.
Do that again.
Bow, bow, bow. Have you ever heard of a wish sandwich? A wish sandwich is the kind of a sandwich where you have 2 slices of bread and you wish you had some meat. Bow, bow, bow. The other day I had a ricochet biscuit. A ricochet biscuit is the kind of a biscuit that's supposed to bounce back off the wall into your mouth. If it don't bounce back, you go hungry. Bow, bow, bow. The other day, I had a cool water sandwich and a Sunday go to meeting bun. Bow, bow, bow. What do you want for nothing? Rubber biscuit? Bow, bow.
Get around, I get around, yeah, get around, round, round, I get around, I get around, round, round, I get around, get around, round, round, I get around, get around, round, round, I get around, get around, round, round, I get around. I'm getting bugged driving up and down the same old strip. I gotta find a new place where the kids are hip. You're getting real well known. Yeah, the bad guys know us and they leave us alone. I get around, round, round, I get around. 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 I get around, get car, 'cause it's never been beat, and we've never missed it with the girls we meet. None of the guys go steady, 'cause it wouldn't be right to leave the best girl home on a Saturday night. I get around, round, 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 I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. I get around.
Ramones. Rock and Roll High School on PIX 102, and this is Alex Bennett with you. And it's somewhat of a similarity when you think about it between that and the Beach Boys and I Get Around. And, of course, we had the Blues Brothers with Rubber Biscuit, which is kind of interesting because this Saturday on the old Rock and Roll Show with Alfredo and Ralph M., the return of the up-temp doo-wop sound with special guests, the Chips, doing Rubber Biscuits live right here on radio. They were the original ones to do that. We're here with you. It's 31 degrees outdoors at 2:21 in the morning, and we want you to listen in each 10 Tuesday at 9 p.m. as we count down the tri-state area's top 12 rock and roll tunes with Magless. That's it, the top 12 countdown. 9 p.m. each PIX 10 Tuesday. Gary Newman. Little space music in your ear.
Out of the PIX Pass.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods of I love the sound of breaking glass. Deep into the night. I love the work only it can do. How it changed your mind. Oh, it changed your mind. Sound of breaking glass. All around, sound of breaking glass. Nothing new, sound of breaking glass. Breaking glass, sound of breaking glass. 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 Sound of breaking glass.
I love the sound of breaking glass. Nick Lowe on PIX 102, and just before that, Chuck Berry with Johnny Be Good. A little bit later on this morning, around 4 o'clock, I'm going to go to the phones, and I want to ask you something, because I had a fight going this week. Well, it really wasn't a fight. We had this big argument going about great rock and roll lyricists, guys who wrote great lyrics, right? And we were kicking them around, and two of us were arguing back and forth who was better. I get this for a combination, Chuck Berry or Brian Wilson. And I'll give you my reasons why we were arguing about those two later, but I'd like to know later on this morning about 4 o'clock who your favorite rock lyricist of all time is. Weather-wise, they're going to have a traveler's advisory. What do you know? We're finally going to get some snow around this place. Very early Tuesday morning. Cloudy with some snow probably developing quite late tonight, which means later this morning. And then it says ending in the early morning, but that means if you're going to drive to work this morning, you should be asleep by now. Specials for somebody special. PIX 102. Bennett gets the wrong cut again. It's going to be one of those mornings. That is a gentleman who has been around. Well, he's not around anymore. He died recently. And he's been around for years and has been an influence, and most people are not aware of him. His name, Professor Longhair. Who did he influence? People like Fats Domino, Mac Rebenack, better known as Dr. John the Night Tripper, Alan Toussaint, a lot of people like that. And I played the wrong cut off of that. And I was supposed to play a thing called Bald Head. So maybe in the next set here we'll play that for you, or play it a little bit later this morning and make it up to you. Sorry. Blame it on Alex Bennett at PIX 102, where it's 2:40 in the morning. Just before that, Linda Ronstadt, of course, the specials with gangsters. And a reminder to you, the consumer rights say that your utilities cannot be shut off after 12 noon on Fridays or on Saturdays, Sundays, or holidays. For more information, call 960-4800. I suppose the best way not to have your utilities turned off is to have a holiday every day. You can, right here at PIX 102. They'll still turn off the lights, then. John Baldry.
You know, I remember a few years ago, some funny things used to happen to me. About 1956, 57. At that time, there was no blues scene or not really any kind of scene in London. I used to go out and play my guitar in the streets and sing things with passing the hat round. I remember one particular night, I was playing my guitar in a little alleyway just off of Wardour Street in Soho. And I got busted by the police. And this policeman came up and dragged me and my guitar and my hat full of pennies off the police station. Anyway, the next day, I had to appear in Marlborough Street Police Court. And it was quite a day. Police officer giving his evidence. I was proceeding in a southerly direction, my lord, when I heard strange sounds coming from Wardour Place, my lord. A sort of boogie-woogie music was being played. On further investigation, I saw the defendant standing there with a guitar and an old hat on the floor, collecting pennies. Well, I decided that he was contravening a breach of the peace there, as there was a traffic jam about 5 miles long down Wardour Street, wondering what all the fuss was about. So then I arrested the defendant. Just one moment, officer. What is this woogie music here you were talking about? Oh, well, my lord, said the officer, getting out his notebook, obviously been doing up his homework. Is a kind of jazz rhythm music peculiar to the American Negro. Oh, what was the defendant doing playing this kind of music there in Wardour Street? Anyway, I got off with a caution. A year's conditional discharge. But I'll always remember that policeman and his boogie-woogie. So don't try to lay no boogie-woogie on the king of rock and roll.
Sister, 'cause late 45, but your head's in 53. You got what it takes, their heads are spinning down by the old red shack. But you come on just like a fool grinning in the back of a red Cadillac. You can't come across the asphalt bridge until you pay the toll. So don't try to make no movie rule. I'm the king of rock and roll. Rise out.
Okay, that's John Baldry, and it's called Don't Lay No Boogie Woogie. I'm the king of rock and roll. And here's that Professor Longhair we promised you.
Whoa, there. I don't see nowhere. Whoa, there. Where's this girl at? You know, folks, this little girl I've been trying to tell you about, supposed to be a good friend of mine's wife. But every day on the car, go to the would tell me the same old thing. She had her married on some other night. Look at her. She didn't have to wear. Will you look at her? Show me this girl there. Whoa, there. She ain't got nowhere. Oh, look at her. Where's this girl at? And this chick comes down every morning worrying the poor boy to death. She could beg to take her out to a ball. But he got a straight door, he told us they couldn't both take no chances. If she carried the girl, she had to stand out in the hall. Look at her. She didn't have to wear. Will you look at her? Show me this girl there. Whoa, there. She ain't got nowhere. Oh, look at her. Where's this girl at? Now the boy decided to take the girl out for a walk. Rounds out by East Frankel Park. Which he did because he started getting one to make a little love. He put his arms around the neck and he knocked the reins off. Look at her. She didn't have to wear. Will you look at her? Show me this girl there. Whoa, there. She ain't got nowhere. Oh, look at her. Where's this girl at?
ocean. I'll see it when it's all around me. Hey, what's the hurry? I'll find you and I'll hold you in my memory. Sugar's a long, long way, and I won't forget it. No, I won't.
On Pix 102, Steve Forbert. The sweet love that you give. And just before that, what I did is I did something I felt like doing here, which was to give you the tastiest cut on the Professor Longhair album. A little tribute to a great man who had an influence on a lot of people in forming what a lot of people call Creole Cajun rock. And, of course, John Baldry. Don't lay no bougie on the king of rock and roll. Pix 102, 254, temperature 30 degrees. And Elton John.
I see a deep flash, Jamaican honey so sweet. Down my Lexington, cross borders there by the street. Oh, she's a big girl, she's standing 6'3", turning tricks for the dudes in the bed.
It's you. On PIX 102 with Knack and Alex Bennett, and just before that, a little something for the Lexington Avenue Irregulars. Elton John, Island Girl. This is PIX 102 WPIX FM, New York's rock and roll, back after news.
If those local TV newscasters who use the happy talk approach make you a little uneasy, you're not alone. Psychologist Dr. Fran Miller says that happy talk anchormen get on a lot of people's nerves, so much so that they may be giving their viewers ulcers. She spent 4 years studying the emotional effects of news reading styles and found that even a slight smile during a serious news story makes viewers uptight. When we see someone telling us something serious with a smile on his face, Miller says, we subconsciously assume that the newscaster's trying to look happy because the facts are even more alarming than they sound. I'm John Ogle. This is the other news on WPIX FM, New York. Inflation isn't helping anyone but the government, which makes more money each time you're pushed into a higher tax bracket. But some people suffer more than others, and what kind of job you have has a lot to do with how you make out. The Bureau of Labor Statistics recently compared wages in different professions and measured their performance against inflation between 1969 and last year. Depressingly enough, hardly anyone is making much more money in real terms than they did 10 years ago, and the bigger tax bite means we're actually taking home a whole lot less. Chief accountants, personnel directors, and stenographers were the only professions that showed any significant wage gains, picking up between 7 and 10%. Secretaries' wages adjusted for inflation dropped 4%, and everyone else on the Bureau's list came within 2 percentage points of just about breaking even. The Japanese may have to cut back on their car exports, but they've gotten another product that they'd like to sell in North America, high-speed bullet trains. Those trains that travel at speeds up to 135 miles an hour have carried more than 1 billion Japanese passengers without a serious accident since they began operations between Tokyo and Osaka in 1964. The Japanese think that the same trains would be perfect for the wide-open spaces of the United States, specifically the wide-open spaces of Texas. State officials in Texas heard a Japanese National Railroad presentation on bullet trains last month, and now they plan to ask for a federal government study of the possibility. If Texas did get a high-speed train network, the first likely route would link Dallas and Houston. That 240-mile trip now takes 5 hours by car and nearly 9 hours by Amtrak. It would take 2 hours on a bullet train. Scientists at Utah State University are looking into the possibility of tapping the Great Salt Lake's natural resources as a first-class solar energy collector. If the basic mechanics can be worked out, the scientists are sure that the energy potential is there. Scheme is very simple. The dense water at the bottom of the lake, full of salt, gathers heat from the sun because it's unable to rise to the surface and cool off. Water at the top, which is less salty, remains cooler through evaporation. The lower layers of water are trapped and continue to gain heat, sometimes reaching temperatures near the boiling point. To generate electricity, the heat would be used to vaporize a liquid like Freon or ammonia, which would drive a turbine generator. Now, this may seem a little far-fetched, but the idea is already in use in Israel, where a 150-kilowatt system takes its energy from similar characteristics in the Dead Sea. The energy in the Dead Sea Lake may be easier to tap than the Great Lake because it's much shallower. The shallow depth means that it doesn't take as much energy to get the heat to the surface. The scientists think that the lake could yield 15,000 megawatts of power, and that's enough to almost double the state of Utah's current generating capacity. Doctors at the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta say a house is the best place to stay during a tornado, and cars and mobile homes are the worst place. The doctors studied the effects of a tornado last spring in Wichita Falls, Texas, and found that more than half of those who were killed were riding in cars. In all, 43 people died in the twister, 26 of them while riding in cars. Most of the people knew the tornado was coming, and they were trying to drive out of its path. That, the doctors say, is a big mistake because tornadoes move too fast and too erratically. What's more, in 20 of the 26 deaths, the person's home was undamaged by the tornado. Mobile homes weren't so sturdy. The doctors found that those structures are among the most likely to be damaged by a twister, and that people living in them are about 30 times more likely to get hurt. The researchers are recommending that mobile home parks construct community shelters so residents will have a safe place to go and wait for the tornado to blow over. Johnny Thunders is fronting a new band called Gang War with original MC5 guitarist Wayne Kramer. During their encore at Heat in New York last week, Iggy Pop jumped out of the audience and sang with them on a tune called Around and Around. And there's a bit of confusion over Bram Tchaikovsky's next LP. It's going to be called The Russians Are Coming, everywhere in the world except here, presumably because of current world events. In the United States, Bram's new album will be called Pressure. That's it. That's the other news. I'm John Ogle on PIX 102, New York's rock and roll.
Cash ain't nothing but trash.
Why?
Here we go. Yeah, you may have heard about the gangster love and the space cowboy, but I'm gonna whip a cat on you right now. We've had more trouble trials and tribulations. 1, 2, 3, hey! Yeah, it's alright. Look at here. I was walking down the main track one night. I met a fine chick, she was built just right. She stopped when I flashed my roll. I told her she could have all of my gold. She turned around and with a frown she said, this ain't no circus and I don't need a clown. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. And there ain't no need in your hanging around just to make a hit with that chick. I tried to get a Cadillac right quick. The man at the place, he looked so strange. And $900 and some change. We disagree. I tried to plead. Well, I said I ain't a chicken and I don't need to be. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. Well, baby, you're crawling way past your speed. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna play my guitar right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just keep on rolling, y'all. Keep on rolling, look at here. I was walking into town in my white box. A man with the gun, he said, hands up. I tried to get away, but too slow. He got me and took all of my dough. I heard him shout as he cut out away. You ain't lost nothing, what you crying about? Cash ain't nothing but trash. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. And he took my watch and I passed out. I woke up in the arms of a big cop.
Do tell.
Police station, next stop. Judge swung his fist down. Plunk, plunk. $20 fine 'cause you're drunk. Dig up the dough and you can go. All I had was a buffalo. Your gas ain't nothing but trash. Your gas ain't nothing but trash. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. But I'm sure going to get me some more.
Steve Miller talking about the Susan B. Anthony Dollar. Your cash ain't nothing but trash. Blondie before that on PIX 102 with Alex Bennett.
PIX 102 Tuesday, where your favorite rock and rollers get double exposure starting at 6 a.m. every Tuesday on PIX 102.
And
102 with Alex Bennett. That applause is justly deserved for Johnny Winter. We're just sitting here in the studio saying, where's Johnny Winter now? He's doing some backup work for Muddy Waters and things like that, but a fate not justly deserved. Just before that, Little Richard, who is now, I understand, peddling Bibles on street corners. Sad fate for one of the fathers of rock and roll. Rip It Up started the whole thing off from the Tusk LP, Fleetwood Mac, and Think About Me. And this coming Wednesday night at 11, we'll be featuring Elvis Costello's Get Happy on Album Picks, our featured LP this week. Wednesday night at 11, Album Picks on WPIX 102. Cars. Lust for kicks.
I believe that you and me last forever. Oh yeah, all day and nights are yours, leave me never. The only time I feel alright is by your side. Girl, I want to be with you all the time, all day and all the night. All day and all the night. All day and all the night.
Kinks all day, all night on PIX 102 with Alex Bennett. 329. Money.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I want money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Your love gives me such a thrill, but your love won't pay my bills. I want money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Money don't get everything, it's true. What it don't get, I can't use. I want money. Give me your money. Just give me money.
Yes, Stevie Winwood did Friends, better known cumulatively as Traffic. On PIX 102, Dear Mr. Fantasy. Before that, the rebirth of Marianne Faithfull. A big rebirth. What's the hurry? And of course, the Flying Lizards talking about the thing that Steve Miller earlier said was nothing but trash. Money. With Alex Bennett on PIX 102. Ah, yes. Stevie Winwood did Friends, better known cumulatively as Traffic. On PIX 102, Dear Mr. Fantasy. Before that, the rebirth of Marianne Faithfull. A big rebirth. What's the hurry? And of course, the Flying Lizards talking about the thing that Steve Miller earlier said was nothing but trash. Money. With Alex Bennett on PIX 102, reminding you the Community Tax Aid Incorporated will offer free income tax preparation to New York City residents. Call CTA for more information at 212-566-5950 during working hours. I don't know what it's like outside. I have not been out there. They say it's supposed to snow and that it will accumulate a little bit up until the morning. They say about 1 or 2 inches possible. It's going to be colder, low 25 to 30. Partial clearing, windy, and very cold on Tuesday, with temperatures mostly in the 20s. Silicone teens. What part of them are silicone is the question.
Why should I care? Why should
Linda Ronstadt on PIX 102, Cost of Love. That's from her brand new album called Mad Love. Before that, The Who from Quadrophenia, and the Silicone Teens, Judy in Disguise. It is amazing to me how songs you once thought stunk all of a sudden become waxing nostalgic and become fun once again. Terrific tune. Silicone Teens, Judy in Disguise. Alex Bennett at 8 minutes before 4 o'clock. In the next hour, we're going to take some phone calls here, and I'm going to put out a question to you, which I argued about with a friend of mine who has a band here in New York. We were sitting around trying to figure out who was the best rock lyricist of all time. We had boiled it down to Chuck Berry and Brian Wilson. I want to see what you think. Think about those lyrics, the ones you liked, okay? And then a little bit later, after 4 o'clock, give me a call. Tell me what lyrics you like. Tell me what writer you liked and what particular line you dug. Rock philosophy. Oh, Johnny Taylor.
Oh, you fellas, gather around me and let me give you some good advice. But I'm gonna ask you now. You better think about it twice. Why you lying, cheating on your woman? Now it's something you never even thought of. Now tell me who's making love to your old lady? Are you out making love? Giving out. Now who's making love to your old lady? Are you out making love? I've seen so many fellas falling that same old thing, thinking that a woman is made to be beat on and treated so bad. Oh, fellas, let me ask you something. I'm sure that you never even dreamed of. Now tell me who's making love to your old lady while you were out making love? Oh, who's making love to your old lady while you were out making love? I know there are some women guilty of this too. I'm not trying to run your life, cause it's up to you. Oh, you. Oh, you. Reason why I ask this question, I used to be the same way. When I decided to straighten up, I found it was a little too late. Oh yeah, that's when it all happened. Something I never dreamed of. Somebody was loving my old lady while I was out making love. Somebody was loving my old lady while I was out making love. Listen now who's making love to your old lady while you were out making love? Baby, oh baby,
She don't love me, she loves my automobile. She don't love me, she loves my automobile. But she would do anything just to slide behind the wheel. She said, what's it gonna take for you to lay your top on down? She said, what's it gonna take for you to lay your top on down?
I said, honey, why don't you ask me when we hit the outskirts of town?
Cars, and just before that, She Loves My Automobile, ZZ Top, starting it off with Who's Making Love to Your Old Lady While Your Old Lady's Not Making Love, which may be one of the great rock lyrics of all time. You may have some great rock lyrics out there, and your favorite rock lyricist, and we're going to ask you who that was in the next hour. So stay right where you are at WPIX FM. That's New York's rock and roll.
All right, consumers, get the wagons in a circle. The federal government has published a draft of a new White House plan that tells us consumers just how to make our voice heard. The draft consumer plans tell you how to complain, who to complain to, and how to find out about what is being done for consumers. You can get a free copy of the proposed draft by writing to the Consumer Information Center, Department 645-H, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009. The White House, they say, is encouraging all of us to tell them precisely how we do feel.
Consumer Watchdog. Yes, we're rough on bogus businesses. And today, Consumer Watchdog reports on protecting you, the consumer, from being consumed by dangerous products and phony packaging.
Right you are, and here's today's example. I have here a box of the popular cereal Idiots, the breakfast of madmen. This is another perfect example of the increasing artificiality of our lives. And at Consumer Watchdog... What's that?
Oh, excuse me, I think it's our order just arrived from the coffee shop.
I'll just take sugar.
Sugar?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are, Fidel Castro? There's no sugar.
What did they bring you?
Just this, let's see, little tube of liquid tooth shortener.
Whew, just fill a cup.
Cup? I don't think they're using cups anymore, Phil. They sent these over. Artificial substance surrounders.
Forget it. Look, let's just step outside and get a nice breath of fresh air.
Breath of what?
I mean artificial lung expander.
But who is to judge? Not the judges who are raked over the coals in the Watergate, Woodward, and Scott Armstrong book, The Brethren. The Brethren deals with the first 7 years of Justice Warren Burger's tenure from 1969 to 1976. The book marches case by case towards the judgment attributed to Justice John Paul Stevens that the judges are a flawed and unreflective lot who make pragmatic rather than principled decisions, shading the facts, twisting the law, warping logic to reconcile the irreconcilable. The book recounts how Hugo Black bent the entire court to his will with tactics that one colleague considered blackmail, how Byron White goaded Potter Stewart into changing a decisive vote by denouncing his position as chicken shit, how William Brennan once allowed a murder conviction and a life sentence to stand, even though he considered it unfair. The book's most revealing case in point is the battle over the Nixon tapes.
Let me play the conversation again, reminding you that you recorded it with a recording device concealed in your atomic heart. Please, just...
I had a wonderful idea. Let's just all forget about it, roll over, and go back to sleep. Finally, to ask for your sympathy, for your concern, and your dollars.
The Nixon tapes was a contest that set virtually the entire court intriguing to impose its will and its words on the Chief Justice. According to Woodward and Armstrong, the justices were moved to action by their uniformly low regard for Burger's talents and by the suspicion that he might somehow tilt the verdict to the advantage of his patron, Richard Nixon. At one session, known as the Conspiracy Lunch, an impromptu Saturday sit-down involving Stewart, White, Brennan, and 4 clerks, it came to the brink of a direct 7-against-1 confrontation. Although that plan died due to a failure of nerve, Burger finally bent to the rebels in the Nixon tape case. The Brethren points out that Burger's colleagues also have switched positions and then tipped cases out of pique or partisanship, idleness, eagerness to please, or mistrust of one another. Stewart made it his extra-legal rule never to cast the decisive 5th vote to overturn a Warren Court-era precedent, something he abandoned the day White told him that it was kind of chicken shit, and turned around his vote on a minimum wage case on the spot. On bottom, the Brethren is a judgment of the judges, an unflattering group portrait of the justices, shading votes, doing deals, cultivating allies, nursing enemies, intriguing and threatening where reason fails.
Are you bored with your present job? Does your life seem more like a life sentence? Well, Now there's an amazing opportunity for young and talented people in the rapidly expanding area of jurisprudence. Yes, you can have success, even wealth, by enrolling now in the famous Judges School. America's ever-increasing backlog of court cases and the shortage of qualified judges have created a crying need, and more old judges are leaving the bench every day. Just look at today's headlines. Judge gets 30 years. Judge caught running a call girl ring. Who will replace these men? Why not you? Send for our free booklet, Career Opportunities in the Judging Profession. It could be just the reprieve you're looking for.
For WPIX FM New York, I'm Bill Vitka.
I bought that car with this guitar. Hey, once you go uptown, I thought I loved, now I'm found. 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street. I'm sending you down to know you won't go. I thought you already knew. Hey, once you get that boat, I got my wallet, I got that tattoo. Hey, once you go uptown, I thought I loved, now I'm found. Hey, once you buy that tie, I bought that tie with this. I got my feet on 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street. I'm telling you, darling, so you won't go. Thought you already knew. Telling you, darling, you won't go. Up and down, yeah. 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street. I'm letting you go. 14th Street, I'm on it. 14th Street, I'm on my baby.
Step in, watch the door. 14th Street, 8th Avenue, James by name, E and a double L.
14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street. I'm telling you, darling, so you won't go. Thought you already knew. I'm telling you, darling, you won't go. Up and down, yeah. 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street, 14th Street. I wanna go. 14th Street, I gotta get on 14th Street. I wanna get down. I don't need 96. I don't need 42. I don't need 53. I want 14th Street, 14th Street, yeah. 14th Street, 14th Street. Send those motherfuckers. Don't 14th Street. Come on now, go. 14th Street. Yeah, let's go. 14th Street. I wanna get there. 14th Street. If I'm after midnight, we don't let it all hang down. After midnight, we don't juggle up and shout. We're gonna stimulate some action. We're gonna get some satisfaction. We're gonna find out what it is all about. What it is all about. After midnight, we don't let it all hang down. After midnight, we don't shake your tambourine. After midnight, after midnight, after midnight, so go be peaches and cream. After midnight, after midnight. gonna give an exhibition. We're gonna find out what it is all about. What it is all about. After midnight, we're gonna lay it all hang down. We're gonna shake your tambourine. Shake your tambourine. We'll shake your tambourine. After midnight, there's gonna be pictures and shake your tambourine. We'll shake your tambourine. We don't cause talk and suspicion. We don't give an exhibition. We don't find out what it's all about. What it's all about. After midnight, we're gonna lay it all hang down. After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang down. After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang down. After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang down. After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang down.
Nobody sleeps while Bennett's on. On PIX 102, Eric Clapton, After Midnight, the great J.J. Cale's song. Before that, a little tribute to the street on which I live, called 14th Street Beat, Sylvain, and it is about 12 minutes past 4 o'clock. And in just a little while, we're going to take some calls. This morning, I want to know from you who you think the greatest rock lyricist was of all time, and perhaps you might have a certain little line that means something to you from some great song that person wrote. If you do, 972-0300 is our number, 972-0300.
Hi, I'm Jane Hamburger. Join me Sunday evenings for the new rock and roll show featuring the newest imported and domestic releases. Every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. just before Radio on PIX 102. That's the new rock and roll show sponsored by Second Coming Records at the corner of Sullivan and West 3rd Streets in the Village, where they buy, sell, and trade all imaginable kinds of new and used records.
Down. I'm gonna turn my face to the sun just to get you wherever around. Got your friends and your money besides, and now you leave me behind. Oh my, I can't cry.
Chuck Berry, the father of rock and roll. Oh, what a thrill. And I should mention, while we're at it, that in celebration of Chuck Berry's return to the rock and roll stage, PIX 102 has an offer you can't beat. The first 102 people over 18 to show up at Heat Saturday, March 1st at 9 p.m. with a blank 1040 income tax form. How's that for significance? And mention PIX 102 will receive free admission to see Chuck Berry and Sylvain alive. Right there. From PIX 102 at Heat, 6 Hubert Street in Manhattan. I'm sure that Chuck will be happy to see what income tax forms look like. Aretha Franklin, with respect, and started it off with the shirts, Can't Cry Anymore. On PIX 102 with Alex Bennett. And we are going to do something now. We're going to go to the phones, if I make them work. And the other day I was walking down the street with a friend of mine who's a musician, and we started saying, who's the greatest rock lyricist of all time? First we both said Chuck Berry. Great lyrics, right? And then we said, well, how about Brian Wilson? And then we started naming about half a dozen others. I'd like to know from you this morning who you feel was the greatest rock lyricist of all time. And we will begin as soon as I get this whole machine working here.
PIX 102 timer.
Working. If it isn't, I'm going out to thin air. Okay? Let's ask you. Hello there.
Hello, Alex.
Yeah, who do you think's the greatest rock lyricist of all time?
I think the greatest rock lyricist is a little-known rock singer named Sylvia Smart. She has a song with lyrics that go, "You're all washed up, baby, hang it up."
Mm-hmm. She wrote it for me, you know. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, who's the greatest rock lyricist, do you think?
Ray Davies, I think.
The Kinks.
Yes.
Yeah, any particular lyric you remember that you liked?
Okay, Preservation Act #1.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you got it. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say Sonny Bono, because he's like burnt out like you.
Yeah, right. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, who do you is the greatest rock lyricist of all time?
Bruce Springsteen, definitely.
Okay, any lyric that you remember particularly that,
Not particularly.
Just like him and, okay. You can't even remember one line. See, I mean, that, part of it is memorable lines, right?
Yeah, I can remember one line.
Yeah. I mean, one that hits you?
Yeah,
You know, I mean, she goes to the hamburger, she's got Daddy's car and she goes to the hamburger stand now. She was going to go to the library, she told her old man now. But with the radio blasting, you know, it's lines like that. You got to remember them, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I remembered that one correctly. Up in the morning and out to school, right?
Yeah, Chuck Berry.
Good line. Okay, you got a great lyricist for me? Hello, you got a great lyricist for me on PIX?
Alex?
Yeah.
Okay. Early Bob Dylan.
Early Bob Dylan.
Yes.
Anyone in particular?
Any song in particular?
Yeah.
Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands?
Yeah. I always, to this day, I still like the lyrics of Subterranean Homesick Blues because they make no sense whatsoever.
I'll tell you why I prefer Subterranean Homesick Blues, especially that one line, which reminds me of a group of people which turned me on. You don't need a weatherman
to know which way the wind blows.
Anyway,
Johnny's in the basement fixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement talking about the government. Right?
Anyway, Alex,
Yeah.
there's an old friend on here. You know me from many years back.
Do I really?
Yes. Think of pies.
Pies. You're the pie man.
Yes.
Of course. How are you?
Fine.
Pied anybody lately?
Just Jerky Brown.
Yeah. You got Pat Brown?
No, Jerry Brown.
Jerry Brown, rather.
A few months ago. And
Was Linda nearby at all? I mean, did she get any of the splatter?
Oh, you mean Linda Ronstadt, his #1 groupie?
Yeah.
Well, I think, let me put it this way. It would look rather sexually stimulating for her to receive one, you know.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Right.
Hello, you got a favorite rock lyricist?
Yeah, Paul Anka.
Paul Anka. You got a line you remember from Paul Anka?
Yeah. Ball burnt out.
Yeah, right. Hello. You got a rock lyric? Hello, you got a rock lyricist?
Yeah, Jim Morrison of the Doors.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, Music Hall is probably his best written song.
Any particular line that you remember in particular?
Yeah, the part when he goes, "Before I sink into the big sleep."
Uh-huh.
That line, because he gets into, like, the end of the earth in that part of the song.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You got a rock lyricist for me?
Jagger Richards.
Jagger Richards. Good.
Satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. They wrote probably the greatest single line about you can't always get what you want, but you find sometimes you get what you need.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. Give me a rock lyricist.
Rico Kasich.
I never heard of him. Well, give me a rock lyricist, Joe.
John Lennon.
John Lennon. Any particular lyric you remember?
Oh, pick any one. I think the lyrics to Working Class Hero.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll open the phones again in a little while and find out from you what you think is, who you think is the greatest rock lyricist of all time here on PIX 102. Right now, Dead. It's called
Most of the cats that you meet on the street speak of true love. Most of the time they're sitting and crying at home. One of these days, they know they gotta get going. Out of the door and down to the street all alone. Trucking like a good old man once told me that to pay your hand. Sometimes the cards ain't worth a dime if you don't lay them down. Sometimes the lights are shining on me. Other times I can barely see. Lately it appears to me what a long spaceship it's been. What in the world ever became of Sweet Jane? She lost her sparkle, you know she isn't the same. Living on lead, vitamin C and cocaine. All a friend can say is ain't it a shame? Cooking, up the buffalo, again. You got to mellow slow. It takes time to pick a place to go. And just keep trucking on. Sitting and staring out of the hotel window. Gotta take, they're gonna kick the door in again. I'd like to get some sleep before I travel. But if you got a warrant, I guess you're gonna come in. Busted down on Bourbon Street. Set up like a falling pin. Knocked down, it gets to wearing thin. It just won't let you be. You're sick of hanging around and you like to travel. You're tired of traveling, you want to settle down. I guess I can't revoke this all the time. Get out of the door, light out and look all around. Sometimes the lights are shining on me. Other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me what a long spaceship it's been. Trucking, I'm going home. Whoa, baby, back where I belong. Back home, sit down and patch my bones and get back trucking. Come on, come on. Come on, everybody! Come on in!
my childhood. The bedtime, fixing time for my childhood. You better tell me I'm not late at night. Oh, gonna hurt some. Time. I'm gonna hurt some. Oh, my baby. The bedtime is my time for some childhood. The bedtime is the time to your childhood. The bedtime is the time that comes childhood. The bedtime is my time for your childhood. Oh, my hurt some. I'm tired. I'm gonna hurt some. What's my baby? You've been forgotten.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's hot stuff. Those are the big machas of rock and roll right now. The Pretenders, The Wait, and Bobby Freeman before that, Come On and Swim. Little fact you may not have known, the arranger on that, and the guy who did the arrangements on that and produced that record was Sly Stone back in the early days, back in San Francisco before he became famous. Alex Bennett on PIX 102 at 4:37 in the morning, and I'd like to remind you the New York State Consumer Protection Board is continuing a series of infant workshops throughout the 5 boroughs to help expectant new parents prevent accidents that might harm their children. For information, call 488-5666. First accident might be having the kid in the first place. Anyway, weather-wise, I don't know. You see, we're in this room here, right? And this room has no window to the outdoors. And they said it was supposed to snow tonight. So if it's snowing out there, you're going to have accumulations of 1 to 2 inches. If it's not snowing out there, the guy was a lousy liar. And then it's going to be partial clearing, windy, and very cold on Tuesday with temperatures mostly in the 20s and clear and very cold Tuesday night. Right now, 29 degrees Fahrenheit. It's 2 degrees centigrade. Sounds warmer when you say it's 29 degrees Fahrenheit. We are asking you via telephone who you think, okay, is the greatest rock and roll lyricist. Maybe a certain line or two that you like, too, from that particular lyricist. So let's see what you got to say. Let me push the button.
PIX 102 timer
is up, okay? Hello, you're on the air. I'm PIX. Yeah.
Yes, I think Brian Wilson is a good lyric.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the ones we brought up, you know.
Right.
His stuff was great because it, I think, best caught the essence of growing up and getting acne. I mean, that whole high school teenage experience, I think, was expressed in the Beach Boys songs, and they were so well expressed. Incredible stuff. So I would have to agree with you on Brian Wilson as being one of them. No question about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
PIX, good morning.
Yeah, I like the work of this guy named Simon Grimsby of this British band called the Suicides.
Yeah.
Because he wrote this really great song, and in it's got this line that says, "I want to kill old, bald, washed-up jocks."
Mm-hmm. Why do you keep phoning up with that same whole routine?
You
see, because hey, punk, listen for a second.
Yeah?
If I were washed up, I wouldn't be on PIX. Hello.
Yeah, I think that Rick Ocasek from the Cars is a pretty good writer.
Yeah.
And there's another one that I like also, Jimmy Page.
Yeah?
He's pretty good also.
It's interesting, because your tastes kind of are in two separate directions. One is heavy metal, and one is like new stuff, you know.
I know, right. But I think, one of my favorite songs, really, in the Cars, they're all my favorite, really.
Yeah.
But, Candy-O was the first that I heard.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And that's what got me started on buying all the Cars records.
Is there any particular line in a song that you like?
In particular, no, I just like the whole song, because you can't really pick out one line from the song without it going on.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Right.
Pix, good morning.
Good morning, how you doing?
Howdy, how you doing?
Okay.
Okay, you got a favorite rock lyricist?
Yeah, well,
Who?
there's Dylan, but I don't even want to talk about him.
You don't want to talk about that?
Nah, Springsteen,
Springsteen?
Roger Waters.
Any particular lines you remember?
Springsteen, yeah.
Mhm.
Wendy, let me in, I want to be your friend. I want to guard your dreams and visions.
Nice line.
Yeah, I'd like to have my dreams and visions guarded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, you're on Pix. Any particular rock lyricist that gets to you? Are you there? Okay, you got a rock lyricist in mind?
Yeah, Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa. Lest we forget.
Maybe from the Apostrophe album back.
Yeah.
The other night I heard side one of We're Only In It For The Money.
Yeah.
And it was really enlightening. It felt like a rebirth or something, really.
The one line out of that I love is, what's the ugliest part of your body? Some say it's your toes, some say it's your nose, I think it's your brain.
Right.
Right. Thanks for calling.
Sure.
Who's your favorite rock lyricist?
Well, I like Steely Dan, Walter Becker, and Donald Fagen, and they had so many tremendous lyrics, but a couple that I remembered were the song Any Major Dude, where he says, any major dude with half a heart surely will tell you, my friend, any minor world that breaks apart surely falls together again. And then he has one, bad sneakers and a pina colada, my friend, stomping down the avenue by Radio City.
Good.
And also, someone called you before, and they said Rick Ocasek, and you maybe you didn't hear him.
There are certain gaps in my information level. I thought he said something else.
Yeah, that was the guy from the Cars, and he has some good ones. But I know you have a lot of calls, but I just wanted to say a lot of them from the late '60s were so good. And the one that said the Doors before, one of the lines from the Doors that I liked was from Your Lost Little Girl, where he says you're lost in a prison of your own devise. I know a few people use that in other songs, but he said it first. And then there was Arthur Lee from the Love Group.
Wow, you're going back. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, he had that Anne Morgan, and You Set the Scene. There's so many good ones. And just let me say this one real fast. This is the last one I'll give you. From Stephen Stills, he did, in the song Dark Star, he says, I love the line he begins with where he says, forgive me if my fantasies appear a little shop-worn.
Thank you for calling this morning.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Who's your favorite rock lyricist? We'll have another go-round in just a couple of minutes.
They paved paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum. And they charged the people $1.50 just to see them. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Hey, farmer, farmer, put away the DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, or leave me the birds and the bees. Please don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. I said, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot.
Harry made a bareback rider, proud and free upon a horse. And a fine coal miner for the MC that was. A fallen angel, Jesus on the cross. Skating ballerina, should have seen her knew the skating walls. Some people got the faith and draw. Harry had to work in claying stone. Like the waves coming to the shore, it was in his blood and in his bones. He was ignored by all trendy boys in London, yes, and in Leeds. He might as well have been making toys. Strings of bees, he couldn't be. No, he couldn't be. In the gallery. No, no. In the gallery. And then you get an artist. He says he doesn't want to paint at all. Takes an empty canvas. Sticks it on the wall. Burnt off a fella, all the phonies and all of the fakes. While the dealers, they get together and they decide who gets the breaks and who's gonna be. Who's gonna be? In the gallery. In the gallery. compromise, no adjustment, no strings. And the lines are subsidizing, they just don't mean a thing. I got to say, he passed away, security. And now all the vultures, they're coming down from the tree. He's calling me. Yeah, he's calling me. In the gallery, yeah. In the gallery. Mary made a bareback rider.
Dire Straits on PIX 102. In the gallery. Before that, Joni Mitchell, Big Yellow Taxi. I'm Alex Bennett, in for Jane Hamburger, who is still away on vacation. We'll be back very, very shortly. And we're taking some telephone calls right now. It's just for those of you who might just be waking up, it's 4:51, and we are asking the musical question this morning. Who do you think was the greatest rock and roll lyricist of all time? So let's go to the delay and talk to some people.
PIX 102, Tanner.
Our number is 972-0300, and you're on PIX. Do you have a favorite rock lyricist?
Yes, Pete Townsend of The Who is one of the greatest rock and roll songwriters I've ever seen.
He's also one of the finest conceptualists, because he, whole pieces, giant chunks of music are attributed to him. Let me ask you a question, though. This is something I just want to throw into the hopper. A few people can answer it if they want to. Who do you think's the worst lyricist you ever heard?
Rod Stewart.
You don't like Rod Stewart? Rod Stewart hasn't done that much writing, though. He's done some, but he usually sings other people's songs.
I know, but the things that he did do, they're not that good.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Who's your favorite rock lyricist?
Polystyrene?
Polystyrene. Any particular line you remember?
Yep. From Plastic Bag, my mind is like a switchboard with crossed and tangled lines, contented with confusion that is plugged into my head. I don't know what's going on. It's the operator's job, not mine.
Thank you. Hello, who do you think's the greatest rock?
I think the greatest is Bernie Taupin.
Elton John's co-writer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two reasons.
Okay. Reason number one.
Reason number one is that he wrote the absolutely great ballad of Naomi Come Home, I'll Buy a Toupee.
Okay, yes, I remember that one quite well. Hello.
How you doing, Alex?
You're on PIX, yeah. You got a favorite writer?
Brian Ferry.
Brian Ferry.
Sure.
Any particular line?
You Never Dream of Heartache.
Mm-hmm.
Strand out.
Who do you think was the worst lyricist of all
Who
time?
do I think was the worst?
Yeah.
Probably Elton John, because he didn't write anything.
Well, he wrote.
Yeah, well, when he did, he was the worst.
He didn't do the lyrics, though.
Right.
Right.
Well, Mr. Tobin, I would...
I'm still waiting for somebody to say Barry Manilow. Thank you.
Can't help you there.
Okay. Hello. I'm not Barry Manilow being the best writer, but being the worst. Hello. You're on PIX.
Hi.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, what's your favorite who's your favorite rock lyricist?
Oh, I love Bowie.
You love Bowie.
Bowie is excellent, especially off his Diamond Dogs album.
Any particular line? Because, what we're talking about here is poetry, right?
Right.
And we should quote poets.
Well, if you took his song Sweet Thing, you could pick off so many lines off of that, but I think my favorite line out of that whole thing would be just the title line, Boys, They're a Cheap Thing, a Sweet Thing.
How about the worst lyricist? You got one in mind?
Worst lyricist? That's really a toss-up because there are too many of them to be real with. but I think the all-time worst lyricist could possibly be, it's got to be Linda Ronstadt.
Well, she really, I think she's only written on very few occasions, and I think we all know why.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah, because she's really not a writer. Again, you know, there's certain people who are singers of songs and other people who are writers and also sing their own songs. Good people who have done other people's songs but very seldom write their own are people like Joe Cocker, although occasionally he came up with a winner, you know.
Yeah, Joe Cocker.
High Time We Went, I think Cocker wrote, which is a great song, but basically he was a singer. Same thing with Ronstadt, same thing with Rod Stewart. You know.
Right.
Thank you for calling.
All right, thank you.
We're running out of time. Quickly, on PIX, who is your favorite rock lyricist?
First of all, Brian Wilson has to be number one in my opinion.
I always felt that too. There was just something about the way he put lyrics together. They just mesh so.
She put me down. I've been out doing in my head, etc. Help me, Rhonda. It's great. And just to mention.
Well, I think he wrote one of the singularly great lines. I mean, the idea of writing a great lyric is to get the song, to get something stated in as few words as possible, and get the feeling across. And the line, wouldn't it be nice if we were older? Then we wouldn't have to wait so long.
Really fantastic.
Thank you for calling.
Can I just mention two other quick ones?
Yeah, quick.
John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah.
And Billy Joel.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
And you, you're the last one. Who's your favorite rock lyricist?
I like The Clash.
Mhm.
The Clash. I think the whole album is filled with good lyrics.
Any particular lyric that you could quote that you remember that sticks in your mind?
I don't want to know about what the rich are doing. I want to go to where the rich are going.
Yeah. Okay. Any idea on who might be the worst of all time?
Maybe, Yes, ELP, because I think their lyrics mean absolutely nothing.
Okay. Thank you for calling. Well, you see what happens? We find that rock and roll has got its poets, and people remember the lines. And thank God they're all with us, man, because they give us so much pleasure. So much pleasure.
Watch you dance, rhythm the band against ready. Get on my tracks, take the last seat, it's home. Feel alright, so ready. Raise a little thing called love. Listen, called love. Now just get a hand on it. Called love. And get right to it and ready. Raise a little thing called love. Raise a little thing called love. Raise a little thing called love. Raise a little thing called love.
Crazy little thing called love. Queen, the young bloods really just absolutely getting the various hormones and chromosomes going in your body this time of the morning with Grizzly Bear. It's 2 minutes past 5 o'clock at WPIX, New York's rock and roll.
This is the Mother Earth News.
If you're driving a big gas-guzzling V8 engine car, you can get about 40% better gas mileage by converting it to a V4. Friend of ours, Michael Roach, out in Topeka, Kansas, went to an automobile dealership and watched over mechanic Joe Lawyer's shoulders as he performed a conversion. The converted engine now gets 21 miles per gallon, an 8-mile-per-gallon improvement over the V8. And here's how you can do it. Start by stripping the motor the same as you would for a valve job. Drain the coolant, loosen the exhaust system, and remove the exhaust manifold, valve covers, rocker shaft assemblies, push rods, cylinder heads, intake manifold, including the carburetor, and the valve lifters from the cylinders number 2, 3, 5, and 8. Clean all the parts and set the rocker shaft assemblies, the cylinder heads, and the intake manifold and carburetor unit on your workbench. Find the left rocker assembly and remove its rocker arms. Then wrap the 4 oiling holes for the number 2 3-cylinder rocker arms with brass shim stock and secure them with 1-inch hose clamps. They'll serve as makeshift seals for the oiling holes. Repeat the procedure on all 4 of the rocker arms from the right rocker assembly, and you'll have disconnected the valves from the camshaft on cylinders 2, 3, 5, and 8. Next, to prevent pressure from building up in the deactivated cylinders, remove the exhaust valves from the heads of the dead bores. Also, you'll want to keep air from being driven up through the valve guides and into the valve covers, so block the guides with bolts, washers, and nuts. Now, you just can't remove the valve lifters from the dead cylinders since they ride in pressurized oil, and you can't leave them in there either because the camshaft will knock them out. So what you do is make holders for the lifters from angle aluminum. Then drill holes in the block to lock the holders in position, and you'll be able to maintain oil pressure without any parts collisions. And the last step in your conversion is to block the right throat of the 2-barrel carburetor. Remove the gas mixer from the intake manifold, unscrew the throttle butterfly valve, and block the throat with an expansion plug. Also block the outlets for the spray bar and the accelerator pump with silicone sealant to prevent the idle throat from filling up with gas, and plug the vacuum advance hole in the throat to maintain the right spark advance. Then bolt your 4-cylinder engine back together, fire it up, and adjust the fuel mixture to the 1 carburetor throat. Also, Joe recommends advancing the timing 2 degrees, and your old clunker should now get better than 20 miles per gallon under reasonable use.
happy in his world. We're only making plans for Nigel as this future in a burning still. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel's whole future is as good as steel. Yeah, and if young Nigel says he's happy, he must be happy, he must be happy, he must be happy.